Hello, everyone. Rob Goslin here, Director of Space. Welcome to our highlight reel, where we share some of our upcoming classes with you. These are just a few of the amazing modules we offer each month in space. If you are interested in more information to enroll or to vote on these courses, please check the individual links below. We look forward to seeing you in space.
Scorn not the sonnet, critic. You have frowned, mindless of its just honors. With this key, Shakespeare unlocked his heart. You may not know this sonnet by William Wordsworth intimately, but you have almost certainly benefited from its influence, which provoked a huge surge of interest in Shakespeare's sonnets in the Victoria era and beyond. Because of Wordsworth's poem, you probably know lines like, "Shall I compare thee to a summer day? My mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun." Or Browning's, "How do I love thee? Let me count the ways." Or maybe even Milton's, "When I consider how my light is spent, ere half my days in this dark world and wide." Hi, I'm Dr. Faith Acker, Master of Arts and Space Faculty at Signum University, and I've completed a doctorate and written a book on Shakespeare's sonnets. But my interest in sonnets goes far beyond Shakespeare's. I'd like to invite you to my new space module at Signum University, titled English Sonnet Readings, in which we'll read a range of poems that have been called sonnets or that are based on sonnets. We might cover some of the famous poems that I've just quoted, but we'll also look at less known verses by other English poets, both before and after Shakespeare, including some that might not meet your high school English teacher's definition of sonnet. In this course, I'd like to share some of my favorite sonnets with you, as well as some unique and fun variations on the sonnet form. In the process, I hope that we'll have a variety of robust debates about individual poems, larger collections of poems, the form and function of the sonnet as a literary construct, and future directions for sonnet writers, readers, and critics. Come join me.
Hello everyone, this is Irina. I'm a historian and instructor for the Viking Age and Old Norse culture and religion. What if I told you that the religious worldview and experience in the Viking Age would have been much more than simply the stories about gods and heroes? Nowadays we tend to use terms like wizards or witchcraft in a very loose way, but in the Norse pre-Christian religion, sorcery would have been intermingled with beliefs, cults, and rituals. We should think of magic as a mindset involving practices that would trigger supernatural powers. There are a lot of terms in the vocabulary of sorcery, but the more general one is seidr. This would have meant prophecy, shape-shifting, controlling weather, healing, cursing, inducing illness, injuring, and even killing. Above all else, this involved extending your mind. So in this course, we will explore the shape and nature of Old Norse sorcery, as well as its many problems of source criticism and interpretation. We're going to learn about Odin as a sorcerer, human magic specialists, performing magic, the potential erotic nature of sorcery, supernatural aggression and ages in warfare, ecstasy, and the broader context of northern shamanism. Hope you will join me in this magical ride.
Hello, my name is Shawn Gaffney, and I would like to welcome you to ancient magic. When we think of the ancient world, we often think about monumental architecture and warfare and innovations in science and technology. But another thing that was ubiquitous throughout Egypt and the Near East was a belief and a practice that we would today think of as something having to do with magic. There was magic to protect you from wild animals, to help you with childbirth, and a variety of other things. So what we'll talk about in this first course is the magic that was common in the ancient world, especially Egypt and the Near East. So welcome to Ancient Magic.
Hi, everybody. My name is Pilar Barrera. I'm from Colombia and I live in Panama. And you probably know that I love fairy tales and stories. And I'm very pleased to be co-presenting this module with Dr. Robert Steed. In this module, we're going to be talking about Latin American and Japanese legends. And you're going to see that they are similar, and it's unbelievable how many similar creatures we have. We have creatures with exaggerated body parts. We have evil women who lure men into their realms and kill them. We have also objects, or what seems to be objects, that become spirits, wandering spirits. So this is going to be fun and weird, and we're going to talk about the imagery and the topics that these tales have. Now, Dr. Robert Steed is going to tell us a little bit about the dynamics of this module. Over to you, Robert.
All right, thank you, Pilar. Yeah, my name is Robert Steed. I'm a long-term space preceptor, and I'm really looking forward to offering this module along with Pilar. I will be focusing primarily on historical and cultural context for these stories. I think a lot of us may not be aware that there actually is a long history of contact between Japan and Latin America, and through Latin America, Europe as well. And so a lot of these stories where we see similarities, it's entirely possible that they're cases of parallel evolution, but I think there's also a fair amount of evidence that a lot of these stories are actually transported across the Pacific in various directions. So one of the things that we'll be paying attention to as we go through this module is the possibility for those trans-Pacific connections and how these cultures shape each other's storytelling traditions. So with that, back to Pilar.
Thank you, Robert. So come join us in this module, and you will discover something like see the woman on our backgrounds, Ubume from Japan, and La Llorona from Latin America. See you all soon. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Isaac Schendel, and I'm an instructor for Old English, Modern German, and Middle High German with Signum University's space program. I'm offering a series of modules dedicated to Middle High German, a medieval language with a rich literature full of heroic epics, romances, courtly poetry, and other works. This course is a great opportunity to become familiar with an important Germanic language with a rich, vibrant culture. One special thing about this module is that no experience with modern German is required. I have taught this series on Middle High German several times, and I can attest that we have brought in students with absolutely no German and taught them how to read Middle High German competently and confidently. So whether you speak German fluently, know a little high school or college German, or are completely unfamiliar with the language, you are encouraged to attend and experience one of the largest canons of medieval writing. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you in space.
Heyo Yazund. Old English, or one Old English phrase for hello, be well, be sound. So I'm here to talk about for a moment the wonders of learning Old English. And telling you, a little of my experience was way back when I was in college, these many, many centuries ago. I was taking a linguistics course, and that's where I got introduced to Old English, studying the history of the English language. And I had just begun to find out who this Tolkien guy was, and the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and how much the language that was Old English and the languages, or some of the languages that are in the Lord of the Rings, resonate with one another. And I got just terribly excited. So I undertook the study of Old English, and here we are. And all these years later, I still love it. So let me introduce to you an ongoing series of advanced readings in Old English, and advanced simply because we're not using a beginner's textbook or anything like that, but sitting down with a text or part of a text each module to read Old English. And for many of us, including myself, this also means looking up a lot of vocabulary from time to time. But the idea is to familiarize ourselves and read what is available in Old English. And so sometimes we read some things that are really well known and are typical in an Old English class at a university or college. Things like Beowulf or The Wanderer from the poetic tradition, but we also read things from the prose tradition. And so we've read Apollonius of Tyre, and we'll probably revisit that text at some point. We've read some homilies, and we've read some other prose texts. And there's many more that we haven't. We haven't really delved much into law codes or charters or the medical books or anything like that. But, right, there's a lot to choose from. And so each month, each individual module, alternating between poetry and prose, we take on a new text and see how far we get. There is no rush. There's no need to rush. So we go at the pace of the class wants to go at, and we can stop and pause and ponder things and what this word means or what this context means or what is making sense and all those kinds of things. So it is a really, really good time, and we have some really great people, and I invite you to join us. So Godna Dai, good day.
Hi, I'm Sparrow Alden, and I'm a preceptor in the creative writing sector of space. I want to invite you to the Weekend Writing Intensive. It's 48 hours during which we're going to try to take your idea all the way to a full first draft of a short story, novelette, or novella. We're going to have 8 hours of class time where I will bring everything I know about story structure and character development and hushing your inner editor and bringing that editor back out with a machete when it's time. We'll also have 8 hours of writer space when you can choose between quiet writing time in good company or the Bandersnatch room where we'll have discussions, peer review, encouragement on your specific project, including plenty of questions to help you fill in the spaces. If you want to join me in this encouraging and slightly frenetic environment full of really good company, please do. I want to hear your story.
Hello there. My name is Christopher Bartlett, and I'm one of the preceptors of the Signum University Space Program in the Creative Writing section. I'm excited to teach a class called The Different Body Problem, in which we will explore the challenges and opportunities that a writer will find when writing about bodies that differ from the so-called normal or average body. At first blush, it might seem that this would only be interesting to someone writing science fiction or fantasy. But bodies are, well, part of everyone's experience. And so they creep into writing of all kinds, certainly SF and fantasy literature, but also memoir, nonfiction essays, romance, and other genres of fiction. We are also in a new era where awareness of difference and of the historical issues surrounding that difference is higher than ever before. It's incumbent on writers to be conscious about how they choose to write about people with different bodies in order to boost their stories or amplify their message. In an 8-hour course, we cannot cover everything or do justice to every aspect of these issues, but we'll look at samples of writing and create some writing of our own, experimenting with different perspectives, covering issues of gender, disability, race, and other differences. We will use the collaborative feedback method for this writing, as seen in other space creative writing modules. We shall be fearlessly respectful, consciously kind to one another, and we will come out the other side knowing more than we did at the beginning. I'm excited to join you on this journey.